mean, I don't personally. I'm not usually as interested in the films that tend to have the biggest budgets and things like that. I don't usually find that those films are as psychologically or emotionally interesting to me. But that's not always true. And I've certainly worked on some. I mean, even Fight Club, I know, is a very popular film here, and that was actually a very big budget Hollywood movie. Believe it or not, I mean, that was an expensive movie to make, and it was made by 20th Century Fox. So it's not. You can't say that the studios never make interesting big budget films. They do sometimes, but I've been in a number of them. The Score was a pretty big budget film, and Red Dragon was a very big budget film. I have done a few of those, but it's true that sometimes these days, for various reasons of the market, it's easier to get a film like The Painted Veil made if you can, I think, make it within a modest budget, because it takes the sense of the risk out of it for the people who are investing in it. And I think in this particular case, the wonderful thing was that we really wanted to make the film in China. We didn't want to make a film about China, in the Philippines or in Vietnam or just somewhere. We wanted to make it in China. We wanted to make it with Chinese actors and Chinese crews and on Chinese locations, and it's more possible here to make a film that feels like a large budget film for a modest budget. And I think I think maybe a film like The English Patient is a good model, not necessarily in terms of what it's about, but that was a film that feels like a very big budget film that they actually made for only around 20 million US, and that was sort of our model, or that was a good model for what we were trying to do here, which is make a film, in this case, that does feel like a very large film, like a very epic film, with a very grand sweep, but do it for a reasonable amount of money.
问题是您经常演一些比较就是预算不是很庞大的独立制片，你会不会有兴趣就是将来参加一些好莱坞的大制作、大预算的这样的电影？你觉得这样的电影对你有没有吸引力？或者是说有没有可以得到奥斯卡奖？那就说他选择影片的时候一般来讲，好莱坞的这些大制作的故事或者剧本或者他可以演的角色，有很多原因，但是一般来说这些对他没有什么吸引力。但是也有例外，比方说那个国际俱乐部也是一个大制作，还有红龙也是，这些也不能说不是大制作，还有他们的预算也是很大。但是一般来说，你说的对，有吸引力的剧本，有一些冒险的故事，或者有一些挑战性的一些角色。很多是来自这个独立制片的行业，而不是来自这个好莱坞的大的制片厂。所以像面纱这样，它是一个比较可以说是类似于英国病人那样，有一个非常好的故事，有一个很好的一个文化的一个背景，还有一些文学背景。那么这样的影片的话，一个好莱坞的制片厂或者投资者，他们会想一想，这个电影肯定有它的观众，但是不一定我们要做成，比方说2亿美元。那么，假如电影可以，比方说成本可以控制在2000万左右，好莱坞 的制片人、投资者愿意冒这个险，因为他们知道这个电影的质量是有的，是肯定的。但是就是说，可能不是一般性的观众都会看懂或者什么的。所以他说面纱的这个好处是在哪儿？它是这种影片，但是因为我们决定拍摄在中国，我们可以就是跟中国当地人合作，利用中国的自然环境，还有做得很真实，也不用花$2亿，但是也可以做成一个非常有价值还有规模显得非常大的一部影片。所以他觉得这些因素都是已经满足了。OK, last one. 最后的问题，已经问过啊，谁还没有问过？OK.
Nice to meet you. This is John from Shanghai Times. I'd like to know how do you get to know the real life, real time, the real society of the 1920s in China?
That's an interesting question. I mean, there's you use anything that's available to you. I think obviously sometimes in the beginning I even just like to look at photographs. You know, I mean, and that's limited into what you can learn. But sometimes just to see the textures of all the different things that were going on at that time. I mean, for instance, if you're an American and you don't happen to know about China in that time, just looking at photographs is really revealing, because there was so much change happening in China at that time, and you had the overlapping of so many different cultural moments. Like you still have, you know, it's very interesting, because in that period you still see people with the Manchu queue, and then you see people, you know, who were in Western dress, and then you see people, you know, you see Westerners, and you see you know, Sun Yat-sen in his military uniforms, and you see you know, there were so many, and then the warlords still wearing grand ceremonial dress, and it was a time where there were so many things overlapping that just looking at pictures makes you realize, wow, this was a very complicated time. But then beyond that, I think we've been all reading a lot of the histories of that period, reading about what life was like in the Shanghai port, and I was very fortunate. When I was in university, I had one of my professors was one of the really great Western historians on China, and one of the books that specifically was really useful to me was a book that he wrote about. It's just a book about Westerners who came to China to try to either change China or give China assistance, and what happened to them. And because for my character, I think is very much I think he's a prototypical Westerner in that era in China, in that he's slightly arrogant in thinking that he thinks he can come in and sort of fix some things in China, and he doesn't have a very broad view of Chinese culture or Chinese politics or Chinese history, and his ignorance of that ends up sort of being his downfall, because he has too arrogant an assumption that he can kind of just come in and fix things. And I think this particular book was very illuminating about people who kind of fell into that trap in China. And I think the interesting thing is, I think that sort of resonates for now. You know, that's a part of the story that I thought was very, you know, had relevance for these times, because especially I think what's going on in the United States, you know, in the United States we're still doing that. We're still sending people into other countries, you know, on this notion that we can fix other people's problems without really understanding the depth of the cultural